In this video, we'll be talking about Chapter 1, What is Economics? So for every chapter that we cover this semester, it starts off with a chapter question and then it breaks it down into sections as well. So for Chapter 1, we are going to define what is economics. In Section 1, we're going to talk about something called scarcity and the factors of production. At the end of this section, you will be using the information to be able to complete the assignment that's related to the factors of production. So the section question is asking, what is the best economic choices we can make? To get started from here, we need to understand what is a need and what is a want. Now the way we defined those is based on our preferences. Now there's some common needs that we would say like food and water and shelter and things like that, we would count that to be essential for survival. But as far as wants go, this really comes down to how important is it for survival. So, for instance, shoes. Would shoes be considered a want or a need? Or a cell phone or a vehicle? Things like that. Is that considered a need or a want? And all these needs and wants are broken down into goods or services. A good is nothing more than an object that someone produced. So if you go to the store to buy anything, any object there, that would be considered a good. For your services, are actions or activities that someone performs for another. So for instance, you get your oil change done at an oil change shop, or if you go get a car wash, or you go to the doctor, or the mailman delivers your mail. These are all considered services when it comes to that. So needs and wants kind of define everything. And then the two categories of a need or a want is a good or a service. Now, problems exist when it comes to needs and wants to get our goods and services that we want. One is scarcity. And this is the whole idea that our resources that we have are not enough to be able to meet our unlimited wants. So, for instance, if your parents ask you to put a Christmas list together and you put 10 things on there and you get 6 out of the 10, that is a scarcity problem because all of your unlimited wants are not there. And then we have something called the shortage. And this is where you have enough resources, but there's not enough in supply to be able to sell it to you at a particular price. So, for example, a few years ago, Hostess pretty much went out of business, bankrupt. Now, someone ended up buying the company, so we still have our Twinkies here today, but for a short amount of time, it didn't look like anyone was going to come in and buy the company Hostess because there just wasn't profitable enough. So Hostess Twinkies especially were flying off the shelves because everyone was fearful that they would never be able to have a Twinkie again. Also, there's others who just trying to make money off the situation. So people would buy them in bulk. I mean, maybe a Twinkie for 89 cents would now be worth like $2.99 or $4.99. Maybe a whole pack of what would only cost maybe $12 is now on eBay for $50. So it just comes down to shortage. Well, someone had this idea that once the world is free of Twinkies, we will not remember the size and dimensions of this. So someone actually measured out and outlined a Twinkie in itself, cut it out of some material, cardboard I'm guessing, and wrote the word Hostess on it and was trying to sell that on eBay for I think $100. So their whole idea was it's a shortage, forget the size of it, and obviously didn't go anywhere because now we still have it today. Gasoline is another one. When prices are increased, that means we have a shortage of gas. When prices are very low, that means we have extra. All right, so if we were to find economics. What would that be? And this is where people seek to satisfy their needs and wants by making choices. So economics is studying people's habits on how they satisfy their needs and wants. So for instance, let's say we give you 1 minute, you have $5 in resources, and you need to pick out your lunch today. And if I said go now, you have 1 minute to look at this list. You would start going through and start figuring out, okay, do I want the pizza over the cheeseburger, or am I going to go salad, or is it a milk versus water, or is it a fruit cup versus a cheese stick? So you would be making the choices on what you want to do. And if we were to collect all the data from the entire class and identify what everyone would purchase, we then could look at that information and study the needs and wants. Why did people pick this over this? Or why did no one pick this one item? Or why did so many people pick this item instead? So economics is studying people's habits when it comes to them fulfilling their needs and their wants. We see this on a national level as well, of when it comes to trading with other countries. And that comes down to needs and wants as far as a country goes, or labor and things like that as well. Now we get to entrepreneurs and factors of production. Entrepreneurs have a major part when it comes to the economy and when it comes to studying economics in general. An entrepreneur is no more than a person who uses goods and services in a way to make a profit, start a business, or benefit others. So entrepreneurship. So if you're familiar with the TV show Shark Tank, which has been around for quite a few seasons now, those are entrepreneurs that are on the show who have found a need or a want and have created a resource out of goods and offer goods or services. So entrepreneurship. And we have something called factors of production. Now, factors of production is important to know because you'll be using this for your homework assignment today. So factors of production are resources that are used to make goods and services. Now, there's 3 types of factors of production. We have land, we have labor, and capital. Land is all natural resources, water, acreage. This could be timber. This could be gold. This could be oil. Anything that is a natural resource to produce goods and services is considered land. And then you have labor. This is someone devoted to the task on which they're paid. So if you have a part-time job in the factors of production, you'd be considered labor. I'm a teacher at the school. I'm considered labor for that factors of production. The third one is called capital. Now, capital is broken down into 2 parts. We have, and we'll cover that in the next slide here. But capital is resources that is either a produced good or service or a human-made resource. So we'll talk about that in a second here. But what entrepreneurs do is they look at factors of production, and then from there, they're able to create goods or services into products. And by doing that, they're trying to build a business or whatever it might be. So for instance, you want to start a lemonade stand. Well, maybe you have a tree in the backyard that grows lemons. That would be considered land. And then labor. You are the one that's going to sell the lemonade. And then maybe capital ties into this. There's 2 different types of capital. There's physical and human capital. So let's say that the lemonade stand, you need to build the lemonade stand, so you need the wood and the nails and the paint and whatever else you might need. The glasses to put the lemonade in, the pitcher to put the lemonade, whatever it might be with that one. So that'd be physical capital. And then you need human capital because you need to understand how to make the lemonade stand, and then how to price it. So physical capital is a physical human-made object, or human capital is more knowledge and skills. The reason you're in school today is to build your human capital. By building your human capital, you become more efficient in your work. So this is why there's always a push to go to college, because we want you to increase your human capital so that you can be more efficient, which allows you to create goods and services and maybe even become entrepreneur in what you're trying to do. So land, labor, and capital, and there's two different types of capital there. The benefits of capital: physical objects and the knowledge base. Well, it's going to give you extra time to be more knowledge and more productivity. So for instance, probably everyone in the class has a dishwasher. I'm thankful for dishwasher because I hate washing dishes. There's been once or twice that our dishwasher has broken down at our home, and guess what? We had to wash the dishes until we got it repaired or replaced. So thinking of the dishwasher, it provides extra time so you're not sitting there washing all the dishes. Creates more knowledge because now I had to be able to function the dishwasher, and then more productivity. Instead of me having to sit there wash the dishes, I can do something else. I can read a book or spend time with my kids and wife or whatever it might be with that. Drones is another huge capital builder right now. This field of work is exploding because there are just so many possibilities that have come with drones. For instance, it has cut down costs on the movie production industry. They don't have to hire a helicopter anymore. They can simply use a drone to get the same aerial view. Food delivery is another big one that the drone industry is getting into. The military, another big one. You don't have to have a soldier on boots on the ground anymore. You can simply have a drone that could go in and do the same job that the soldier would do. So just these benefits of capital are out there. So whenever there's expansion in the economy, that means that capital has increased and has become more efficient and more opportunities. So for your homework that you'll be working on today in class is you're going to walk around the school and you're going to take pictures of factors of production. I want you to take a picture of land, labor, capital, and when I mean capital, I want a picture of one human capital and one physical capital. And then the document that you'll find in Schoology, you're going to take these 4 images and you are going to put them into the Word doc. And then from there, you are going to explain to me in your own words why that image relates to that factors of production. So, for instance, let's say land. Let's say there was a farm field. There was a farm right next to the school. And I went out and took a picture of the soil. That would be land. And then I explain that this is the land, this is a natural resource that I use to grow vegetables. So you got to come up with this. The only criteria you really need to know is you cannot use the same exact picture as someone else. If you are not familiar with being able to get pictures off your phone, I have no problem with someone taking a picture for you, but they cannot use the same picture that you have. The same idea is fine. So if 2 people took the same picture of something, that is fine. It just can't be the same picture. They have to have their own picture in themselves. So one picture of land, labor, human capital, physical capital, and then explain in your own words to me why this factor of production matches the picture that you have chosen. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know.